I've always asked myself the question, what's the purpose of life? Why am I here? When I was a child, I remember being 8 or 9, 10, and I asked the adults and teachers and my brothers and sisters and friends that question, why am I here? What is the purpose to this life that it is? Now, purposes are, humans give things purposes. Like the chair, the purpose of the chair is to use as to sit on. Or the purpose of a screwdriver is to turn a screw. The purpose of an automobile is to get from point A to point B. The purpose of a house is to shelter one from the elements. But the human organism is not purposeful. There is no purpose for life. There is no goal that life is trying to get to. There is no ultimate end that it's trying to achieve. Now, one's own life, one's purpose to one's own life is the purpose of an organism is its own survival, which does not have a purpose in and of itself, to survive just for the sake of surviving. I've heard Alan Watts mention this. I'm going to mention him. He's been very influential on me personally, listening to him as a philosopher, discussing these ideas. So, in a way, most of my current worldview is a result of a lot of other people's ideas that I've been exposed to. So I don't claim any original knowledge. I've tried to use the Hegelian method of synthesis and well, the opposing ideas. You take two opposing ideas and you examine it with an open mind this side of the argument, and with an open mind you examine this side of the argument. Now with me it's always been the science on one side and religion on the other side. Because I was raised in a religious household. I was brought up and influenced by a lot of religion. Mainly Catholicism and Christianity. So we say purpose, we say what is its meaning. It means something. Like, what does life mean? Like, you could define it. You could give it a precise, very well explained definition of what it is to be alive. Now, from what I've learned so far, life doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It doesn't seem to have any grand purpose or goal that it's trying to get to, other than just to survive, reproduce, consume, consumption, cannibalism, reproduction, and addiction, which gentleman here speaks quite a lot of in his videos. And this was a shirt that I won in a contest, by the way. I don't make any, I don't say I'm representing him or his ideas. I've been influenced by him. I think he has a lot to say in the regard. He's done a lot of very much soul searching and study about what life is. And I'm not claiming that I know any more or any less than anyone else does on the subject of what life is, or what the purpose of life is, or what the meaning of life is. When one really seriously tries to find the truth and learn about what this world, this planet, what it is, how it got here, where it came from, what organisms are, what biology is, and how physics works, chemistry, and all the sciences, one openly really does really deep research, intensely studies about the physical nature of the world and reality, you have to abandon religion. You have to say, well, it's from an old time. It was before there was instruments. It was before there was recorded data. It was a time when there was no inquiry and serious examination of the world was in, was only allowed by the priest class, and the priest class had a power over the people. They were given, they gave themselves through the authority of their God that they believed in to take, to hold captive humanity. And in the same way, the world today, human beings are being fooled. They're being tricked by religious people, clerical people, pastors and preachers and ministers, and these people wearing they wear the uniforms, and they have the degrees on the wall, and people believe them. They say, well, they obviously people have believed these things for thousands of years, so it must be true. Obviously, most of the people believe this, so maybe it must be true. It must be taken seriously. And for me, at one time in my life, I did take the Bible very seriously, and the teachings of the Scriptures very seriously, like my life depended upon it, my immortal soul. But we have no immortal soul. We are our brains. We're a physical body. There is no floating phantom that survives after death. There is no pre-birth. There is no soul. There's no non-corporeal being that exists independently of the brain. We know this through science now. So in the old days, before people knew, before there was science, they had to believe something. So God, believing in a God, gave them that, filled that void. Now, don't get me wrong, and I have compassion and I have a lot of empathy to people that believe very, very strongly in the Bible. I sympathize with them. I understand their emotional attachment to their beliefs and why they are so emotionally attached to their beliefs, because their books, their teachings tell them that they must, or else they'll be damned. They'll go to this horrible, horrible place if they don't follow all the rules, if they don't believe, if they don't accept the ideas and the teaching 100%. So there is this, I feel, yeah. And on the other hand, if you are an atheist, then the community or the people around you may mistrust you. Now you're immoral and you're not patriotic. And you don't believe in their God, so you're cast. You'll be shunned. Won't be promoted on your job, or you won't be accepted into a position. So there's a lot of baggage that goes along with the religion. It's not easy for one to just all of a sudden wake up and just all of a sudden one day say, oh, there's no God. Well, all my ancestors and all my teachers and my parents and all of the churches that I went to and the school that I went to, they were all wrong. So now there's no God. So I just all of a sudden one day, boom, there's no God. It doesn't come that easy for people that are raised in a religion. It's been indoctrinated, ingrained into their psyche since they were very, very little children, all the way up to their adulthood. And they become an adult and they study science and they go, oh my God, there's nothing, there is no God. So it's not an easy transition for one that's brought up in religion. And that's what I think the atheist movement, they have to look and be compassionate to the people that are religious people, that believe these myths, that believe these superstitions, that believe these old teachings, pre-scientific era mentality. So with me, it was a gradual process of going to the library, studying, reading, examining philosophy, and then going out and taking classes in biology and physics, and learning about physics and learning about history and where the scriptures came from, and trying to understand the context of the Bible. You understand when it was written and who wrote it, and it was written by a lot of different people at a lot of different times over in one small area of the world. So, and then you're brought up to believe in all these things since you were a little kid. So it's not easy to all of a sudden you open your eyes and you look around and you go, well, there's no God. So, and then you think about, well, now that you're all your foundation upon what your whole life structure has been built on, this religion, that's all gone. So you're just like, you have no firm foundation to stand upon. as far as what your personal, where you're going as an individual consciousness into the universe, where you know how you came about and where you're going as an individual person. So it's very disturbing for you if you become atheist. You have to look at things very, very, very seriously to see and there's a lot of disturbing things in the world that happen. There's no more God to blame. There's no more, well, you can't, there's no, well, this bad thing happened because these people didn't believe in God. No, there was this bad thing happened because that's the nature of the physical world. That's the way the process of nature is working. And you find that life in itself doesn't have any, there's no goals that it's trying to get to other than just reproduce, eat, consume, and survive. So, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Just think about that when you meet other people at your job or in your family that are religious, that believe the Bible. They were brought up that way. So you can't just change overnight. You can't all of a sudden just everything, your whole paradigm of your worldview changes. And when it does, it's disturbing too, because now you got to look at the universe and your life, your person, from a whole different point of view. Thank you.